is flying through the air. Buildings have been destroyed. It's going to 72nd time now. I don't know if anybody's hurt.
50 years ago at this exact time, a devastating tornado just hit Omaha. Back then, it was the most destructive twister in U.S. history. You just witnessed a witness account of what they saw as it came down 72nd Street.
The EF4 tornado killed 3 people, injuring 130 and damaged around 1,500 homes.
As our Johan Marin reports, those who lived through it have quite the story to tell.
Kind of an awe and shock.
50 years later, and for Lori Hardin, it's still hard to forget.
Watching, knowing that this was going to be very bad.
She was 15 years old when the 1975 EF4 tornado devastated the metro as it tracked along 72nd Street, just about 2 miles away from her family home, where she still lives now.
At one point, as it hit Blondo, my dad just yelled to everybody, get inside and get underneath the pool table. And you could see the entire neighborhood disperse and go inside.
Ultimately, the tornado left her neighborhood untouched, but so many others weren't so lucky.
Pretty much destroyed, I forget how long the path was, but from Maple to Dodge Street and continued on to Ralston. The community came together in full force.
And under all that devastation,
it did give birth to one Omaha nonprofit.
First United Methodist Church behind us, the former Temple Israel across the street were hit directly by the tornado, and so that created a effort or movement from within the faith community to really respond to the needs of the families that were affected.
Years later, the temporary help turned permanent. It's now called Together and has a bigger mission.
We really are hyper-focused on food insecurity and housing and homeless services.
Hornacek and Harding agree the community is resilient, just as evident today as it was 50 years ago.
We can conquer anything and we can do it together.
In Omaha, I'm Johan Marin, First Alert 6.
Nearby Westgate Elementary took a direct hit. Thankfully, it was after school let out for the day. There's a service tonight at 7 o'clock at First United Methodist Church to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the tornado. There's also another service at People Park, also known as Pipple Park, tonight at 6:30.